Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Today we have a scenario that's going to bring us all the way back to 1895 for my fleet and 1900 for the Japanese. The scenario was sent in by Brigell and here's the story. It is August 14th, 1904 and you are Rear Admiral Karl Jessen, commander of the Vladivostok cruiser squadron. This is consisting of 3 armored cruisers, Rossia, Rurik and Gromoboi. You were tasked to assist Admiral Wilgelm Vitgeft in breaking through the Japanese blockade of Port Arthur. Upon being unable to locate Admiral Vitgeft's force, you order your ships to return to Vladivostok, but soon after you spot the Japanese Second Fleet, consisting of 4 armored cruisers and 2 protected cruisers, blocking your route to Vladivostok. Running low on fuel, you must break through the Japanese fleet to return to Vladivostok, or risk running out of fuel and supplies and becoming stranded. Good luck, Admiral. Okay, we're going to be using some different terms today. Heavy cruisers are known as armored cruisers, and light cruisers are known as protected cruisers. This was their historical designation, and I will try to stick to that, but the occasional slip of the tongue might happen. In order to win this, in order to defeat the Japanese Second Fleet and escape to Vladivostok, you must sink or rout 3 of the 6 enemy cruisers, while keeping at least 2 of your cruisers above 30% structural damage. So, above 30% structural integrity, I think what he means. If you manage to sink all enemy ships while keeping 2 or more of your own, you will be promoted and heavily considered for the Order of St. Andrew for your service and immense victory. Right. Objective, sink 3 protected cruisers, sink 3 cruisers. It doesn't really matter which ones, so I could target the light cruisers, aka the protected cruisers first, and take maybe an opportunity shot at one of the armored cruisers. Let's see what I can design in 1895. We have exactly 1 hull available. Considering the opposition outnumbers me 2 to 1, I'm going to go with a slow cruiser, preferably heavily armored, to ensure survivability. Speed? No thank you. We're going to be going minimum 60 knots, range not important. Displacement, all of it. Oh, maybe not all of it, because we can only have 9,000 tons. So why can I drag the slider bar up to, what, 12? Yeah. I can drag the slider all the way up to 12,000 tons. The game goes, no, you can't do that. You cannot have a cruiser like that above 9,000 tons. So back to 9,000 tons it is. Come on. I'm hunting pixels here. There we go. The cruisers were named the... Let me check. Rossia, Rurik, and Gromoboi. I quite like Gromoboi. So this is the Gromoboi. Bulkheads. Ideally quite a few. Steam engine is going to be upgraded, although I don't think it's going to matter that much. We get a bit more horsepower per ton out of it, and a bit less engine damage chance. We're going to be firing this thing with coal, and the boilers ideally probably induced, because it does add quite a bit to funnel capability. Steel / armor. Yeah, it's not that hard. Always pick the highest one that you can get, which in my case is Harvey Steel. Barbette armor, minimum barbette thickness. It's an interesting coin of phrase now that you think of it, because having no armor would technically be considered the minimum. But I guess we're going to go with the barbette ones. Torpedo protection, I'm not sure about. Sure, it adds to the protection of the ship, and the enemy cruisers might have torpedoes, but I'm not sure if this is worth the extra... Well, it's only 170 tons. Anti-flooding, much appreciated. Reinforced bulkheads and citadel underwater protected deck. When it comes to armament, we can get enhanced gun reloads and advanced hydraulics, which will increase the turret traverse speed. But I'm actually considering building this thing around its torpedo capabilities, which would mean 17-inch torpedo tubes, which currently will have a range of a mere 1.5 kilometers. So with that in mind, I'll need to have a fairly heavily armored cruiser just to be able to get that close. Main tower. Long range accuracy is really not a big deal. Base accuracy does help, especially since the accuracy of these ships is usually very, very poor. Let's go with an extra large funnel and see what the engine efficiency gives us. 100%. 100%. Not surprised, because I'm only running on 16 knot speed. So I can just go with one funnel. It does look a bit out of place, but in this case, considering the difficulty of the scenario, I'm not really going to go for looks. Then we come to the main guns. Everything is Mark 1 because we're operating... What? Okay. Because we're operating in 1900, or rather 1895, and the enemy's 1900. I do like that very much in this scenario, by the way, because most of the time people go, you know what, it's 1940 and you have ships from 1940. It's usually not how it works. A ship gets ordered in, let's say, 1935, may be commissioned in 1936, 1937. Especially these days, so the current era, it takes years before a warship is actually going from being ordered to being commissioned. But hold on, never mind, maybe back in the day they did it faster. One thing I don't quite understand is how all of my guns are Mark 1, but not the 9-inch. No, the 9-inch is a Mark 2. And that means that it probably has superior stats. I'm not sure this is how it's supposed to be. It has superior stats to the Mark 8, or to the 8-inch. Range is of course better. Damage is of course better, but reload should actually be a bit more. Whereas 46 seconds beats out the 48 seconds that the 8-inch guns can do. And the weight... the weight's a bit more for the 9-inch. But this kind of decides it. I want to have 9-inch guns. Barbettes, not yet invented. So I can only really have just a few guns. Oh, and side guns weren't invented here. Now, I do wonder if I could put maybe 2 turrets. But nah. I just cannot push this thing forward far enough. What I can do is push them back quite a bit. Oh, hold on. Yes! On the stern. With pretty good firing angles, actually. That's quite nice. Unfortunately, I cannot do that on the bow. And it's currently giving me quite a bit of aft weight offset. But maybe with a whole army of 5-inch guns on the bow, I can sort of offset that. If only a little bit. Very little. Very, very little bit. There is something to be said for not going with a 9-inch, but maybe something smaller. What if I go for a 7-inch dual here? Then I can drag this turret a bit back. Because the more weight offset I have, the less accuracy I'll have. And the base accuracy of these things is already so poor that I really don't feel like I need to add more to that. Advanced hydraulics. Rangefinder wasn't yet invented. So that's nice. Black powder. Black powder just has negative specs all over. It doesn't have one good thing about it. Gun cotton, more shell damage, more muzzle velocity, higher flash fire chance. This one has a 15% flash fire explosion chance. Oof. That jumps up from 5 to 15. And I don't really see the benefits. Because you get a much higher flash fire explosion chance and a far higher flash fire spreading chance of 45%. Whereas here it's only 10. This gives you more gun range and more shell damage, more muzzle velocity. Which I imagine if you're firing at a fast target is useful. But I'm not. I'm targeting ships which were definitely not very new, not very fast. And it reduces your flash fire chance a little bit. This just ups it, plus 10% flash fire chance. So what is my flash fire chance overall? 4%. Is that it? Now we're going to 3%. Fire chance -5, flooding chance -22. What about the weight? Doesn't matter at all. Okay. Am I going to be firing high explosive? Probably not. Let's run with ballistite, because I don't want to get flash fired. And then for shells, heavy shells. Now, I believe we have the majority of the components that I require on this ship. Of course, I could still add some case-made guns here, but I do wonder how much a 5-inch gun can actually pull off. Sure, I might be operating at 2,500 meter range, but that means it pens 7.2 inches of armor. I have 4 inches belt armor plus 50%. I'll add a few. Especially since they don't weigh that much. And against the light cruisers, so the, what's the official term? The protected cruisers, they might do something. And that weight offset, well, tough luck. How about, by the way, I'm just being stupid. I need to swap these around. I need to have the 9-inch closer to the main tower. So to the center of mass, and then the 7 behind it. We could pull this thing back here. Pull this thing back here. And now we're down to 2.5%. That's better. Right. Time to turtle up. Holy shit. We can make this thing a hell of a turtle. 8.5 inches of belt armor? Plus 50%? That means I have, what, 13 inches of armor. This thing, the 9-inch gun, at 1,000 meter range can pen 15.4. The best gun that I can deploy will pen 18 inches of armor. Now, this is the best thing I can deploy. The Japanese might have something better. And just to ensure that I won't immediately get blown up, we're going to go with a 10-inch armor belt. I think that's more than I put on some battleships. I do, however, want to armor up the turret a bit more, because if the turret flies off, because it gets flash fired, we're going to have a lot more of a problem than getting penned through the belt. 7 inches of turret armor. Conning tower is usually almost free. There we go, 4.3 inches. Can we get 5? Yep, there we go. 5 inches of armor. Secondaries, not just slightly too heavy turret top, not important. Because I'm not really expecting plunging fire to hit anyway. That's the reason why I'm not putting a lot of turret and deck armor on, or turret top armor. I'm gonna try and get close, which I know is a bit of a contradiction considering I'm so slow. But I feel that in this era, it's really the only way of getting any kind of a decent accuracy. So, the Gromoboi, ready to go. Okay. The enemy has been spotted to the north. And that means that we're going to get there at our best speed of currently only 14 knots. Now, interestingly, one of the other cruisers in this scenario was called the Rossia. I named the other one Gromoboi, but the Rossia apparently has been picked as a name by the AI itself. And then we have the Johann Boguslav. Yeah, I think a battle line of ahead is ideal for this scenario. Because I don't really see getting another good shot in if I go line abreast. It puts the ships side by side. But I want to be able to go broadside. Enemy spotted. Range. Hello? Here. You're not that far away, are you? 6 clicks out. Okay, our accuracy is already pretty decent, surprisingly. Which way are you heading? That way. Okay, in that case, I'm going to head directly towards you. Otherwise, I'll not be able to get those torpedoes away. And the torpedoes are what I'm using, or at least what I'm banking on to do damage. Now I imagine that these enemy warships are going to have a pretty tough time trying to deal damage. Because they might be able to spot my ships, and they'll be able to fling all sorts of, what is that? 9-inch ammunition at them. But their chances of actually penning that 9-inch belt armor, that 7-inch turret, and that 5-inch conning tower is tricky. It's not going to be easy for them. Identification currently 64%. I'm hoping that the AI has decided that it is in their best interest to go with minimum bulkheads. In favor of, I don't know, a smaller ship, mayhaps. They do have a lot of funnels, that's for sure, and quite a few casemates. ID 61 97. Tell me. This is the armored cruiser Chikuma. Maximum bulkheads. Oh, look at you. Graduating. Right, if you guys could just hold steady, I'm gonna charge in at 14 knots and deliver you some torpedoes. But Chikuma did manage to get some damage in. 76% chance to pen? Holy hell, what are you shooting at me? Gun cotton. Heavy shells. How? Because my chance to pen you is worse. And I'm very, very sharply angled. 5.1 inches of belt armor. 5.1 inches of turret armor. Oh, their quality is much better. 74%. Mine is a mere 48. The other heavy cruiser, sorry, armored cruiser is the Azuma. And then we have a vaping cruiser, so that's one of their protected cruisers, aka a light cruiser. Torpedo range is negligible. I have done 3 points of damage and they have done 86. And they continue to do damage. How? I'm genuinely confused. Ricochet chance high, 88%. Or 88 degrees. For the Chikuma it's not as bad, it's 68 degrees and dropping. But come on. I'm not quite sure how they're capable of doing this much damage to the Rossia, unless they might be firing high explosive. That could explain it. Now target the, let's see, which do we have a flatter side on? 8 inch or 8 degrees. This one. Mina Mikoma. I'm getting towards torpedo range. Anti-flood 2. Citadel 2. Anti-torp 1. Right. This is the difference in 5 years in tech. They also have electrical turrets. They're supposedly using 18-inch torpedoes, but they didn't install them, fortunately. And outside of that, reduced ammo for torps. Yeah, great, but you don't carry any. Double hull bottom. And a lot of bulkheads. I don't know how well my torpedoes are going to do. I wouldn't actually be surprised if it's going to be pretty negligible. Sure, we might cause some flooding. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 compartments. If I could rip open 2, that might cause quite a bit of flooding, but I think they'll be able to counter that quite effectively. I don't like how this cruiser is angling towards me, or sort of. It's like I'm firing blanks. These are heavy 9-inch shells. Or at least that's what I was sold by the shipyard. just not really seeing it. There you go. That's better. 2 compartments flooding, rudder damage. That is an ideal time, because if I'm able to launch a torpedo at her, she's going to have a harder time avoiding that. Secondaries on the Kashi. Now the objective is... oh shit. The objective is to keep at least 2 of your cruisers above 30% structural integrity. Rossia technically is still above 30% structural integrity, but the problem is the rest of the ships full with water. So that's not quite going to work. That means that the other 2 cruisers have to survive. And I was tasked with routing or sinking 3 of the 6 enemy cruisers. So if I can just blow away one of their light cruisers, then that counts for at least 1 of them. Although, of course, the heavy cruisers, the armored cruisers are officially the more dangerous ships. But they have 4. There's one hiding here in the back that I can't see yet. Is that stern turret able to fire at all? No! Shit, the stern 9-inch is not working. That's something I didn't consider when I was rebalancing the ship. The poor firing angle of the 9-inch. Now this one does carry torpedoes. They can hit me at 1.5 kilometers. Which means they can hit me at the same time as I can hit them. But these torpedoes are 18-inch. And mine are 17-inch. So they're slightly smaller. Not sure if this battlefield promotion is going to come through at this rate. So I've done 180 damage and they've done almost 10 times that. Accuracy, still a mere 3.5% and just not getting anything. Oh, and yeah, he's starting to vape as well. That's not helpful. My chance to pen that one is 100%. Their chance to pen me, 23. But it's the heavy cruisers over here that are going to cause me all sorts of harm. Alright, we're all in now on the Kashi. Fire. How heavily protected are you? Also max. Oh, I guess this is the vengeance from the AI for the exceptionally good luck that I got on Taskmaster Tuesday. When all the ships were very, very poorly protected. Oh no. Could you stop exploding? Boguslav is now going to start turning away because it's too heavily damaged. Detach. I don't mind that you turn away, I just want to get that torpedo away on the target. Kashi has detected. What's your turning circle like? Because you don't seem to be taking any evasive action. 500 meters. Near enough. Is that going to hit? Yes, it did hit. Kashi has some serious flooding to take care of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 compartments. Alright, that's a light cruiser dead. Sorry, a protected cruiser dead. I need the Johan Boguslav to start doing some serious damage control. And I would love it if one of those heavy cruisers got into range of my torpedoes, but they're clever. They're not doing it. Now this guy is moving away. Oh, they have a stereoscopic rangefinder. Crap. Target the Mogami. The light cruiser, sorry, protected cruiser Mogami. I'm going to try and get another torpedo attack off on them and then sink this guy out there in the back. Hoping to get that third cruiser kill that I need. And I'm just going to avoid this division for now. Just sort of ignore it. Insofar as you can ignore that. I'm starting to regret my choice of not going with a faster cruiser. Because catching this thing, even if it's doing a maximum speed of 19 knots, is proving tricky. No, it's just getting away from me. 3 clicks. Look at that accuracy. Or rather, the lack of it. Whereas Chikuma has a 3.3% chance to hit me at far better ranges of almost 6 kilometers. My chance to hit the light cruiser is, well, about 3%, if that. So it looks like we're gonna just intercept the heavy cruiser. Sorry, the armored cruiser. Yatsugatake. Alright. Structural integrity on the Yoan is holding. We're still on 90% here. There's another fire breaking out on this ship, but with those maximum bulkheads, they're very, very efficient at getting rid of those fires. Alright, let's see if we can intercept this heavy cruiser and knock out some 9-inch guns. We are in torpedo range. Not exactly sure how much lead it wants. Probably a bit more than that. Oh no. Secure that flooding. Come on. Turn so we can give lead before the thing gets out of range again. Come on! Now would be a great time to open up with the torpedo tube. Turn faster. Come on. I'm pretty confident that I was giving enough lead there. But it seems like the torpedo launcher crews went, no you're not. And we refuse to take action. Now, I'm hoping that by doing some damage to the Yatsugatake, I can flood her, slowing her down, and get that torpedo attack off anyway. Come on, Gromoboi. The ship's over there, and the gunners went, nah, we're gonna shoot here. Because that makes more sense. This design, come to think of it, is pretty terrible. Because the problem is, I'm constantly chasing ships, whereas most of my firepower is concentrated on the stern. And because of that, I'm struggling to do damage. And I cannot intercept them with my torpedoes either. Because the ship is so slow. So yeah, this is officially a terrible design. What's your speed? Can we tell? 21 knots. You're too fast for me. It has some structural integrity damage, so does the Mogami, so does the Minimakoma. Azuma and Chikuma are perfectly fine. I'm hoping that firing a bit of high explosive is going to damage one or multiple modules on this ship. But it doesn't look too good. Simply because I can't hit them. Guns aren't accurate enough. And meanwhile, the Japanese are perfectly doing what I think they should be doing, which is holding their distance. Making sure I cannot close in. And by doing that, just taking advantage of their better rangefinders and consistently damaging the ships. Not doing any immense amounts of damage, but over time it starts to add up. Especially since they have several heavy cruisers and I only have 2. Sorry, armored cruisers. At this point, we might as well make it a drinking game. Every time I say it wrong, you take a shot. Because I don't have any alcohol next to the PC at the moment. It's 2 clicks out now. The other, let's say, fallback tactic that I have is hoping that the heavy cruisers just run out of ammo. Now, as they say, hope is not a strategy. So this is more of a fallback plan that'll automatically get executed as these heavy cruisers continue to fire at me and continue to do damage. Now these guys are firing most of the time with all of their barrels, so that's 4 shells per salvo. They reload in about 60 seconds, so that's 8 shells per minute. They still carry 400, but they usually don't use all of them before they start to reduce their fire. I expect that they're going to be firing or stopping their fire at about 200 shells. And they still are a long way away from that. Now I said 8 shells a minute, give or take. Which means that in an hour, they should have expended all of their ammunition. In half an hour, they might stop firing altogether. But then the challenge is still to get close. Angle is still not that good, but I think good enough to fire back at them with armor piercing now. Oh, casemate destroyed. 2.7, they're definitely getting away from me. The Mogami with their 7-inch guns, I think, is not very much of a threat. 13% chance to pen. Okay. Are you seriously smoking up your ally? You are. And it's the Mogami that crosses the path of the Yatsugatake. And by doing that, becomes the inevitable target of my cruisers. Oh no! This is what I was hoping to avoid. Getting a flash fire. Because with that flash fire, I not only have a massive amount of flooding... Oh. Do you have anything left? No? A turret's gone. X turret's gone. Y turret's gone. No. I do not have a lot left. So the mission is officially a failure, but I still want to try and get at least some damage against the Japanese. So we're going to try and more or less get into torpedo range again. But yeah, they just knocked out a torpedo launcher. I think this is going to completely go to the Japanese. Which is interesting, because I thought that a 5-year tech advantage wouldn't be that much of a problem. Between 1935 and 1940, you can still get quite a bit of a tech advantage if you have 5 years difference. But I thought, well, 1800, 1895, 1900, it's not going to be that much, is it? Wrong. It's a hell of a difference. As the Russian heavy cruisers, take a shot, armored cruisers, are finding out. Although, to be fair, the design should have been better. If I was to do this scenario again, I'd probably go for faster cruisers. A bit less armor. Maybe just bring the biggest guns that I can find. So that I can pretty much always pen the enemy. And that I use my speed to get close to them. That might work. But at this rate, nuh-uh. You know what? Let's try that. Rebuild. Sweep it clear. Main tower is the same. Secondary tower is the same. Funnel's the same. Actually, no. Funnel's not the same. Increase speed. Not 30 knots. 22 knots. Whoa. What? Engine efficiency of 10%? Good lord. That's terrible. 36? 50? That doesn't even fit. I can only fit one, considering the size of these. 50%. Right. I'll take it. Here come the 11-inch guns. I think we're going to have to reduce a little bit when it comes to the amount of armor. Enhanced reloaders, yes. Let's go for gun cotton. Better armor. Citadel, double, anti-torp 1. 800 tons overweight. That is quite a bit. Now the risk that I'm taking here is that if I go closer to the enemy now, I will also, of course, need more armor. Can we up the size of the... oh, I don't even have torps. I kind of do need those. I'm gonna just forego any kind of a secondary armor or battery. 21.5? No, we're gonna do 21 knots. That's 20.5, 21. 4 weight offset, 13%? Jesus, what is so heavy on the bow? I mean, sure, these 11-inch turrets are probably pretty heavy at 500 tons, but that heavy? Let's armor up the conning tower a bit more. 7 inches. So you can get the turrets to 6... no. Turrets to 5.5. Alright. Standard amount of bulkheads. Yikes. No anti-torpedo protection. Standard bulkheads. Standard shells. The only thing I have is enhanced reloaders, and I have torps. Yikes. Enemy to the north. Alright, turn around. Turning circle 269. Pretty decent. We got the Sviatoslav, Rossia, and Gromoboi. They'll probably spot me before I spot them. Don't torpedo unless otherwise directed. I want my guys in a tight formation. I'm going to slow down to ensure that we can actually get the group in formation. I just won't be able to speed up again. Because at my... hello boys. At my 50% engine efficiency, the chances of getting back up to speed, not that good. Now, of course, we're facing a different enemy this time. It looks like a larger build. Different hull, potentially. And just 2 guns instead of 4. But the size is 2 single 11s. Jesus. Loose formation, try to get into range. All of the torpedo launchers, that is. The reason why I'm redoing this scenario, by the way, is because I'm curious to see if it can be done. Using a different build, that is. 99%. Kumano. This is the armored cruiser Kumano with standard bulkheads and 21 knot speed. Yikes. Stop doing that. I'm going to point my bow towards the Kumano to intercept the second ship. Some damage in the Kumano. An overpen. Interesting. We got a 100% chance to pen. That's pretty spectacular. Fire and flooding. Target Utsugi. Torpedo away when ready. My torpedoes are not quick. 29.5. Which is still faster than the 21 knots that those things can do. Accuracy is pretty damn good. It's just that I only have one single turret on the bow that fires every 66 seconds. Come on. Blow a big hole in them. Hello? Turret loaded. Gun refusing to fire. What the fuck was that? Seriously, how do you expect me to hit something if you do it like that? Kaikomo immediately detected the torp. That's impressive. Lyddite 1? Oh. So you're just a flash fire waiting to happen. Alright, let's make that happen. This torpedo looks pretty decent. Kaikomo is trying to avoid it, but probably won't be able to. Well, it might. Yep. She dodged it. Fuck's sake. Give me a high explosive salvo. Still nothing? Come on now. Now you're just making yourself look bad. Let's see if we can use the bow launcher against the Kaikomo. Provided that we still have a bow torpedo tube, as the whole compartment's going underwater. I'm gonna preventatively detach this ship, because I'm thinking that she might try to disengage all of her own. Of course, my turrets have no way of keeping up with this turn. Come on. Oh, we got him. Kaikomo hit. Stop friendly firing. Sviatoslav doesn't need that. She has enough trouble as is. There's another torpedo. This could sink the Kaikomo. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. It does depend on just how much damage... Oh. Well. I think that kind of seals your fate, doesn't it? Kaikomo, 11%. Did you just stop your flooding? Because you weren't supposed to do that. 9% buoyancy, 8%. But I'm not seeing any more of the compartments being ripped open. 7%, but they're back to 8. Sviatoslav holding steady at 80 and 82. Or 81 and 82. Come on. 5%. Okay, they too can miss. That's fortunate. 4%. Hard starboard turn. Maintain pressure on the Kaikomo. We need to knock this ship out. Because I've seen the AI come back from this. 0.7. Come on. Come on. Gotcha. Alright, Sviatoy, we got a new target. You're going to be going after the Takari. And you're going to go after the Utsugi. And I'm going to detach you as well. The Gromoboi, you're going to target the Kumano. Now, I'm not sure if the bow torpedo launcher is ready yet, but I do want to try again with hitting the heavy cruiser Takari with a torpedo. Sorry, armored cruiser. Damn it. Heavy cruiser and light cruiser is just way easier. Turn. Can we still make anything better than 16 knots? Yeah, we should be able to. More or less, but doing a turn is not helpful. This time around, I've done 1500 damage versus their 409. Let's turn a bit, trying to bring both guns to bear. And still closing the distance. That's going to come at the expense of a lot of accuracy. Because that's my rangefinder, or my fire control damaged. I know that these bow tubes have a very, very narrow angle. So maybe that's the reason why the torpedo isn't launching. Come on. Come on. Hit. Rudder damage. Perfect timing. no torpedo launch. How's the rest of the group doing? Nah, not great. Haven't really done that much damage. Takari is still issuing... Oh, there we go. Torpedo away. Hit. Serious flooding. 1, 2, 3, 4 compartments hit. Engines are taking massive damage. I think she's gone. And then we have 2 protected cruisers. Yeah, I got it right. 2 protected cruisers out there in the back. Come on. Come on. Finish her off. Jesus, that was a good hit. 28% chance to pen, but they blew right through the nose. Oh, no, you're not. Look at that buoyancy. 10%. 11%. Yeah, they're fixing it. As opposed to the Sviatoslav, which is not doing very well. Maybe the port torpedo tube can make a difference here. Torpedo away. Knife fighting range, 500 meters out. Gromoboi and Slavorossi doing pretty decent. I need you guys to speed up the flank. Could you please take the hint? No, because we hit a flooded compartment. That thing doesn't give 2 shits about this. Look at that, the torpedo barely did anything. Simply because the compartments here were already flooded and I hit him amidships. So the only hope that I have is for my guns to actually do something useful. Let's see how cross-eyed my Russian gunners are today. Target is probably just about dead in the water with 3 damaged engines and a damaged rudder. Accuracy 41%. Wow, we hit him. But once again, we managed to start flooding a compartment that's already flooded. Great. But they do seem to be struggling to deal damage to the other ships. Target Tatsugi. It's a perfect angle for you. Come on. Jesus, this thing is still surviving. 5% buoyancy. %. They're coming back. And in the meanwhile, they're doing damage to me. Far more than I'm doing to them. I need that port torpedo loaded. Which is going to take another... Oh. Never mind. Can I get the same damage control parties as you, please? No? Come on. Buoyancy back up to 15%. Many bulkheads. Torpedo! Jesus, those gunners. Kill it! Torpedo away, port side. Let's turn the Sviatoslav away. Please hit him right in the stern where there's one unflooded compartment. Yes. Buoyancy dropping to 12%. 11%. 10%. So how many torps did you take? You took 3 torpedoes. 5%. 4%. 3, 2, 1... Done. Jesus. Almost at the expense of the Sviatoslav. They did a really good job on that. Now, I have sunk 2 of their cruisers. I still need to sink a 3rd to complete the objective. Torpedo away, port side, Gromoboi, target Utsugi. Utsugi has detected the torpedo. But are you capable of turning in time? I think they might be. They're turning hard to port. Ricochet angle too high, switch to high explosive. They fucked up, they stopped turning. That's gonna hit right amidships. Boom. That's gonna cause quite a lot of flooding. And maybe more importantly, do some damage to the engines. Which would allow the Slavorossi to catch up. And deliver another torpedo. More flooding. This could sink the Utsugi. 28. 25. 22. 17. 15. Interestingly, I have kept all of my cruisers above the 30% threshold. So above the 30% structural integrity. 10%. Slava, it looks like you're going to have to add your torpedo into the mix, because otherwise this thing is refusing to sink. Gromoboi is having quite some issues here. Turn your bow towards that cruiser. Torpedo launched and hit the Utsugi. Flooding continues. And... yes. No. Yes, she's gone. Utsugi is dead. Sunk. So with that, I have sunk 3 of their cruisers. And interestingly, Slavarossi, Gromoboi, and all the way back there, Sviatoslav, are still above the 30% structural integrity margin. So with that, I am proclaiming victory. I have done my damage. I have taken a lot of damage, but the cruisers are alive. And this just goes to show that my initial design was just terrible. I didn't quite think it through as much as I should have, trying to deliver torpedo. Yeah. Well, I kept 2 of my cruisers above 30% structural integrity. And then the Gromoboi just went up in a flame that you could probably see from orbit. Anyway, first design, not so good. Second design, quite a bit better. Hope you guys enjoyed the vid. If you like it, then please consider subscribing. Join my Patreon supporters as you like to support the channel. And I shall see you soon for another video.